Hello world, welcome, thank you for joining me. I'd like to take some time today to answer a big question, one of the biggest questions that humans can ask themselves, and that question is, what is God? I'm gonna share my perspectives from this fractal of source. So, to give you the one-liner answer, God is the infinite loving consciousness in which all of this creation exists. Now, what do I actually mean by that? Let me unpack that based on the things that I have learned throughout my own journey and my own awakening. So, when I had my spiritual awakening event, the experience was one of transcending this reality. And the information and insights that I was able to bring back are some of the things that I want to share with you in this video and all the videos. So, it's quite a high level statement to say God is infinite, loving consciousness. How do we actually understand that within the human experience? When we're living out our lives and we're here in physical form, it's difficult to understand, well, what does that actually mean? What does that look like? How am I experiencing that? How do I interact with that? And so the insights that I have that I'd like to share with you are to do with the building blocks and the nature of this reality. So the way that I think about it is that if you think of reality as being made up on the most dense level is physical matter. So particles vibrating that are, for example, a table, a chair, a tree. So all matter, all physical matter, which appears to us as having an experience of it being, say, solid, is actually energy manifesting and behaving differently. So when you look at a physical table, it seems like, oh, this is fixed, it's solid. But in fact, it's actually just an experience of something that's solid. It's actually made up of many small particles that are moving and vibrating. So it's actually just energy behaving in the way that is giving you the experience of a solid table. And peeling back the layers even further, so if all matter is actually energy, then we move into the realm of, okay, we can understand that everything is energy. So we have the physical objects and we have the energy itself. So whether that be light energy or heat or etc. So what is energy itself and how does that relate to God? So energy, as we experience it and perceive it as matter or as e.g. light, for example, is in fact consciousness expressing itself differently. So all energy is information, it's consciousness, it's intelligence, it's awareness. And on that most broad level of understanding, everything is made up of consciousness, which is manifesting as energy, which is manifesting as matter. It's almost as though if you imagine it in terms of like a Venn diagram, that's how my brain thinks it's easy to understand. So a Venn diagram being a circle which represents a data set. And if you had the circle representing all matter that exists, then the matter would be a subset of energy. So the energy circle would be completely surrounding the matter circle. And then beyond that, again, outside, you would have the circle that represents consciousness. And so all energy and all matter are subsets of consciousness. Now, understanding consciousness. So what I'm really saying is, as you look around in your experience, let's say you see light coming from the sun, or let's say you see the physical table. Those things are actually consciousness, the infinite consciousness, expressing itself and behaving differently, giving you an experience. So what I'm really saying is, on that highest level where the infinite loving consciousness is the divine, is God, the things that we're perceiving in this reality as being the table, the chair, the light from the sun, all of those things are actually God. We are experiencing them as being something separate or something different. But they are just divine consciousness expressing themselves in different forms, as you are also divine consciousness expressing in a different form. So in some ways, this is easy to think about this in terms of like in the film The Matrix, where there's the understanding of, okay, this reality is actually a computer code, and there's the image where you see the code, which is programming all of the people and places and images and items in front of them. It's almost like understanding that everything in this reality, all items, all light, all energy, is actually expressions of the code of God. God is the code that is running in everything in our reality, in everything in our existence, including you and me. And this is where it also then leads to the understanding that there is a consciousness and an awareness in all things. So you can actually shift your consciousness and connect to the consciousness of other items, other beings, other objects. For example, you can shift your consciousness to connect with the energy of a tree. You can shift your consciousness to connect with the energy of a star or a planet, Gaia, Mother Earth. All of these things are conscious and aware and intelligent in the same way that you are. It's just that we're expressing in this form, which we understand to have a mouth and ears, and that's how we talk and communicate, or fingers to type. And, you know, the tree doesn't have a mouth, the tree doesn't have fingers to type a message online, but it is still built from consciousness. The building blocks, the essence of what creates the tree is consciousness, and you are connected to all of it. I think the only other thing I wanted to mention in terms of what does God really mean is that understanding that all of creation, all of reality is in fact made up from the infinite consciousness of God, which connects us all. With that understanding, I just wanted to also point out the fact that within religion, all religions are paths to God. All religions are traditions and methods of connecting to God through different routes. If you imagine the path to God being like different tracks up a mountain and God is the summit of the mountain, then different religions or different spiritual paths are just different routes that one can take to get up to the same point. The summit of the mountain is the same regardless of how you get there. So I just wanted to emphasize the fact that all beings, you know, whether you connect more strongly with someone like Jesus or Buddha or Shiva or whoever it might be, to understand the true nature of consciousness and reality and the true nature of the divine as being all things, then you see these figures in religions as being fractals of God who are here and who have existed to serve us, to guide us back to God. And there's no one route that can be considered to be more true or less true or more aligned with God than another, because every person is a fractal of God. So celebrate the messages and the experiences and the insights and the wisdom that all fractals have come to share, regardless of which man-made religion they may be associated with. I hope that's helpful, and sending you loads of love.